Resident Evil Requiem, addressing the Leon Kennedy leaks. So, man, this is a video I've been meaning to make for a couple weeks, and I kind of want to just piece things together. And then Capcom, as they usually do, went and threw a monkey wrench into the video I was going to make about compiling all this stuff about Leon Kennedy. Is he going to be in the game? Is he not going to be in the game? And then they dropped the pre-order stuff, and that completely changed my idea. So I'm going to rewind a little bit. It feels like every week, if not every handful of days, since the announcement of Resident Evil Requiem, there is a new leak about Leon Kennedy. Like, is he going to be in the game? Even though Capcom has specifically said that, well, I'll get into it in a second, but they've alluded to the fact that he will not be the protagonist. He will not be the playable character, the main playable character in Resident Evil Requiem. But I pulled up this just quick search of Leon Kennedy and Resident Evil Requiem, and you can see, like, from a month ago, you know, people are still talking about Leon being in the game. And I get it, right? It's Raccoon City, Resident Evil 2. Like, you know, Leon and Claire were the main characters in both the remake and the original PlayStation 1 version of the game. He's an iconic character. People like Leon Kennedy. He was in Resident Evil 4. I get it. So the idea that people want him in the game is something that makes sense. But something I really like as Capcom, or I like that Capcom does as a company, is that there are some times where they do something that's very fan service related. They know what their audience and their fans want to see, and they'll do that. And then other times they do something off the beaten path. They do something a little bit different that they think might move the genre or the franchise, the series, the story forward in some way. But, you know, there's examples where they kind of go both ways. Looking at this, there was an article here just from September 27th, 2025. Resident Evil Requiem developers are still being coy about whether Leon's going to be in the game. You have this from 21 hours ago. Sony may have accidentally leaked Leon S. Kennedy's return in Resident Evil Requiem. I'm not going to click on this stuff. I'm laughing because let's take a second and say, will Leon be in the game in some capacity? I do think so. I mean, I don't necessarily think that people can use this video as a means of saying, you know, oh, Justin, you were wrong, or Justin, you were right. I like the character. Would I like him to be playable? That'd be cool. But I don't think that it's his story, and I think that his time in Resident Evil kind of happened already. And I like that Capcom explores new characters like Ethan Winters, I guess, for Resident Evil 7 and 8. I like that. So I think, to me, the idea of Requiem being a new character has to come through and kind of make sense, and it kind of is embroiled in this story that happened 30 years ago with characters that are no longer around. I like that idea, you know, but at the same time, you know, if I got some sort of Avengers style, you know, game where, you know, Claire and Chris and Jill and Carlos and Leon, and they're all showing up at Raccoon City to put the bullets into Oswald E. Spencer because you know he's going to be in the game. Like, would I think that's cool? Yeah, I mean, I do. It's a little dumb, but I do think that would be cool. I would be cheering for that. So, but I just kind of wanted to point out that the leaks are still coming. I'm still surprised, but I do think he will be in the game in some way, but I don't think he's going to be playable. I think that Grace is going to actually do the action stuff. And that brings me to the pre-order stuff, because when I was thinking about how I wanted to make a video about addressing the Leon leaks and putting together all this stuff that kind of, you know, reinforces, oh, he's going to be in the game, but, or maybe he won't be in the game. Capcom last night, I guess this will be 2 days from when this video comes out, but Capcom put out this pre-order kind of information, and towards the bottom here, they show the Apocalypse Grace costume. And when they showed this kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything for me, because what I initially thought was going to happen, which is why I thought Leon would be in the game as a playable character, was that I thought that Grace Ashcroft, FBI analyst, doesn't really know what's going on. She gets kidnapped. She's in this Raccoon City facility, getting chased around by something that's probably not Lisa Trevor, right? Or maybe it is. And I thought that you see her in the demo, she's like stumbling. She's like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. She's really scared. And I thought, okay, that's going to be her character in the game. And then when you switch to the action-oriented stuff where you get a weapon, that's going to be where you play as Leon. So one component will be Alien Isolation, and then the other component will be Resident Evil 6, everyone's favorite Resident Evil game. But then when I saw this pre-order bonus, a new idea popped into my head. And the new idea is, I like Sarah Connor. I like Terminator. And I was thinking it would be kind of cool if we see like the transformation of Grace's character in Resident Evil Requiem, similar to the way that we saw a transformation of Sarah Connor's character from Terminator 1 to 2. And I'm pretty sure when you clicked on this video, you didn't think that I was going to be talking about Terminator in a Resident Evil video. But here it is, because I'm looking at this outfit. She's got the gats, yo. That's a big gun. And I was just thinking, like, she kind of even looks hardened in this picture, right? She looks like, yo, I'm sick of this shit. So my thought was a portion of the game will be her trying to run from the monster. She'll kind of uncover things about what happened in Raccoon City, what happened with her mother, how things were kind of connected between the events. You know, maybe there's something going on with her blood. She'll kind of start to get the reveals of why the government tried to cover this up, and Umbrella's trying to make a comeback with this new virus thing like they always do. And she's going to recognize, okay, I got to be the person to shut this down. And so, briefly recapping a little bit of Terminator, with Sarah Connor, she didn't know what was going on. Kyle Reese has to protect her. The Terminator's trying to kill her in the first Terminator movie. And it's through that experience that she becomes very hardened in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. You know, she's got the buddy out in Mexico with all the guns. She's trying to kill Miles Dyson. So she's just like a much more hardened, serious character in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the idea. I was thinking, you know, there might be something about Raccoon City that I think some of the other characters, whether it be Jill, Chris, like I said, Carlos, or Leon, Claire, kind of get drawn to. But I do think that this is going to be Grace's story. And as far as, like I said, addressing the leaks, will Leon be in it? Yeah, I do think that he will be in it in some way. But I don't think he's going to be playable. They could also do something that I didn't really like that they did in Resident Evil 7, because Capcom just can't get away from Chris Redfield sometimes, is at the very end of Resident Evil 7, they just threw in Chris Redfield right at the very end. It has nothing to do with anything. It's some like blue or neo umbrella stuff, and he just shows up right at the end. They could do something like that, but I'm really kind of thinking, especially just off of seeing this pre-order costume now, that this is entirely going to be Grace's story, but she's going to be intertwined in having to figure, because she's an FBI analyst. So I think that she probably is going to come across documentation about other characters and other events that were kind of connected to the Raccoon City event. So that's pretty much the video. I wanted to make this one a short video. Subscribe, like the video, and let me know what you think as far as, you know, if you think Leon Kennedy is going to be in the game or not. According to these leaks, and according to all these articles, he's going to make an appearance. And if he does, that was the other thing I was going to mention before I close out here. It's not really Capcom's style. I mean, maybe I could do a little bit more digging and I'll make another video. But to me, it doesn't really seem to be Capcom's style to announce a game, market it a particular way. I mean, this game's coming out February 27th, right? So that's next year, beginning of next year. It doesn't seem like Capcom's style to then kind of flip on that and say, oh, actually, surprise, here's Leon, we've been holding back. Like, you want to lead with something like that. Like, you know, write the story in a way that when you do reveal it, it's a story that features Grace Ashcroft, but also supporting character or characters in the form of, like, you know, Chris and Claire and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's my idea. I think that it is going to feature Grace Ashcroft as the primary, if not only, main character. And I think that at some point in the game, she's going to turn into this. And that's going to be great because, like I said, I know it's a reach. I'm probably finding any excuse whatsoever to talk about Terminator. But when I saw this last night, I thought, yo, Linda Hamilton, Terminator 2? Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's get it. So, yeah, that's my idea. I wanted to make this video short and sweet. And I'll catch you in the next video. I'll catch you in the next Resident Evil Leon revealed trailer if that ever happens. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.